Move everyone to the meeting room.
Can we move them en masse out of the breakout room?
Mary, what if we go into the other room?
How about now? All right. Good. Everyone moved out of the meeting room? Okay. I hereby call the 2026 caucus of the Montezuma County.
No video.
Hang on. All right. I hereby call the 2026 caucus of the Montezuma County Democrats to order at, was it 9:01 on March 7th, 2026. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for participating in democracy. Couple of housekeeping things here for you. We are, actually, the Colorado Democratic Party has set up a whole new set of apps and processes for caucuses. So please bear with us if we end up with what we might call technical difficulties. Also, my hearing is affected by a cold, so I may end up having to take off my headphones and listen to the Mary or Alana in the room sometime during this meeting, but please bear with that as well. The Montezuma County Democrats began by saying the oath of the Constitution at the beginning of meetings instead of the Pledge of Allegiance in 2019, so we'll continue that tradition today. Kent Aiken will lead us in the oath, and please follow along on your screen. Could you unmute Kent? Kent, are you there? There you go.
Is that better? Very good. All right. Good morning. I ask each of you to commit to the following. I pledge to support, honor, and be loyal to the United States, its Constitution, and its laws. Where and if lawfully required, I further commit myself to defend the Constitution and laws of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, either by military, non-combatant, or civilian service.
Thank you, Kent. I'd like to thank all the veterans here for their service. And I'd also like to thank those who were election judges in the 2024 presidential primary and general elections for your service on behalf of democracy. Another housekeeping issue, housekeeping and basically closed caption is available on by clicking the closed caption icon at the top of the screen. At the bottom of the screen, you'll see a button two buttons you'll use today. The first one is the chat button. Type questions here to the host. If it's a pertinent question to the proceedings or the point of order, you'll be unmuted to say it if there is a need to talk. Thanks to our parliamentarian, Mary Dodd, for keeping us on track and in order. And chat is set so you can only communicate with Mary or Alana or myself. And Mary and Alana will be monitoring the chat as we move along. The raise hand button is a separate from the reaction button. Use the raise hand button to make a motion by raising your hand, and we'll call out the first ones that we see. There'd be no need to actually say anything. If we see your hand, we'll be able to recognize it as a motion or a moving or a second of a motion. And once you're done with that and we've recognized, you can lower your hand. Last is the react button. Click on this button to find the emojis, the green check and the red X. Green check means yes, red X means no. And we'll use these buttons to take vote by acclamation. And if you actually wanted to abstain, you can put abstain in the chat and we'll monitor that. If you're on the phone, you'll be asked to unmute yourself by clicking *6 on your keypad and someone will take your vote. Slide 4. We're conducting 2 different meetings today. First is about, we're meeting about precinct caucuses, which should take about 40 minutes. Right after we're done with the caucus, including electing delegates to the county assembly, we'll adjourn the caucus and immediately gavel into the county assembly and the convention, well, actually assembly, where the delegates will vote for our county commissioner candidate to appear on the ballot, identify their preferences for U.S. Senate, and elect delegates for the Colorado State Assembly, the Congressional District 3, and the state houses 58 and 59. Next slide. Caucus rules. Caucus rules are available on our website. They were sent to all pre-registered attendees, and the link to the rules is posted in the chat. I won't read the rules here except for highlight the one that was added for security purposes, and actually given that we are on a virtual meeting. If this virtual meeting ends unexpectedly, the meeting will be considered to be in recess and any required voting will be conducted via an electric ballot emailed to all credentialed caucus attendees. And that'll be due by the end of the day today around 8 p.m. Next slide. Ilana, will you tell us how many caucus attendants we have here that have been checked in?
We have checked in 30 caucus members.
All right, thank you. So, next slide. Thank you for everyone who stepped up to continue to volunteer in this important leadership role of precinct organizer. As a precinct organizer, you are the boots on the ground who reaches out to and brings together your neighbors and understands their issues and concerns. Here's a list of the people who volunteered to serve as precinct organizers. We have 2 precinct organizers per precinct, and you can see that some precinct organizers' names highlighted in yellow. Those people have agreed to serve until a replacement is found. Vacancies where we do not have somebody actually in place are highlighted in gray. So we do have a few openings, as you can see. If you are not on this list and you're interested in being a PO for any of the highlighted precincts and live in that precinct, please raise your hand or unmute yourself to nominate yourself. If you would like to be a precinct organizer and are not sure what a precinct you live in, raise your hand and we'll be able to tell you. I don't see any. All right. Hearing none, I will accept a motion to approve this list of precinct organizers. A reminder to make a motion, use the raise hand function, and we'll record who we see raises their hand first. Same process applies for seconding the motion.
Susan first, Brandy second. Susan first, Brandy second.
Susan
Made the motion, Brandy seconded.
made a motion and
Randy,
Randy,
Brandy,
Brandy, I'm sorry, seconded. I'm sorry. It's like, I really am having trouble hearing. The motion has been made and seconded to approve this list of POs. Is there any discussion? Raise your hand if you have a discussion point. Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the proposed list of precinct organizers, please vote by selecting the green check mark. All those opposed, vote by selecting the red X. Is the voting complete?
said anything, but
Do we have a majority?
can you do the check?
Yes. All right, motion passes. Thank you. Next slide.
Like this one?
Thanks to those who have indicated on the delegate interest form that you wish to serve in this important capacity. We've also added people who had previously filled out the volunteer form and indicated their interest in being an election judge. This is a paid position with the Montezuma County Clerk and Recorder. You do not have to attend the caucus and assembly in order to be appointed to serve as an election judge. You are also not bound to serve and will have the opportunity to decline or accept shifts. Mandatory training will be provided by the clerk. And by checking yes, your name will be submitted to the Montezuma County Clerk and Recorder. In case there are additional people who would like to serve, we now ask you to use the green check to indicate that you would like to be added to this list of election judges. If you dialed in using your phone, please unmute yourself and speak by dialing *6 on your keypad. All right. Thank you. If you answered yes, your name will be added to the list of approved election judges sent to the county clerk and recorder. Next slide. First, I want to thank everyone who is here, who has volunteered and continues to volunteer for your local party. We are made up 100% of volunteers at all levels, including the officers of the county and the state party, with only a small number of paid staff at the state level. County parties are the ones who do the work that turns out the vote that helps Democrats win, and that work begins now. We need your help making phone calls, knocking on doors, writing postcards, staffing a headquarters, etc. And in 2024, we knocked on 14,500 doors in our county. And our goal for this year is 15,000 doors, especially given the importance of midterm elections. To accomplish this, we have a goal of 100 new volunteers this year, and so far we have 23 new volunteers. Whether you're able to volunteer for a few minutes or hours, please complete the volunteer form soon, and we'll keep you notified of upcoming volunteer opportunities. In order to get to that form, you can go to our website, click on Get Involved, and then click on Volunteer, and you'll have the form there. Next slide. In a few minutes, we'll adjourn and immediately reconvene our county assembly. But before we go, we must formally elect all interested and eligible Democrats in attendance to be delegates to the county assembly and convention. This will determine a quorum for the assembly. We'll be doing a bit of voting in the assembly, and a quorum is going to be necessary. So we hope you'll stay, but if you do not wish to be a delegate to our assembly, then you may drop off the call now. If you are not a voting caucus attendee, you may continue to watch the assembly on the YouTube live stream as an observer. County Assembly will last approximately 60 to 90 minutes. Will you be able to show the list of people who are?
Give me 1 second.
Yeah, we'll need just a minute or two for the transition from the caucus to the assembly, as we will identify the people who are going to be assembly delegates in our software, and then be able to produce a list of the people that are included.
Screen sharing. Should I stop screen sharing?
So stop screen sharing and Russ should go on mute.
Mute. Yourself. Why don't you unmute yourself and say that?
Hi, everyone. This is Alana. If you're still on this meeting, we're assuming that you're going to be a delegate to County Assembly. So we are counting all 26 of you who are currently on this call as county delegates.
All right.
12.
We have a list of 24 eligible Democrats who wish to be delegates to the county assembly. Their names are now put into the system. I will actually, we're going to need a list of the names that we have, because we're going to vote on that list of names. Ilana will share her screen with a list of people who are going to be delegates to the county assembly.
Stop sharing.
So we need to vote.
All right.
I guess that's up to you. I can't unmute. We can't be on both unmuted at the same time.
I will now accept a motion to approve this list of county delegates. Use your hand raise function, and we will record to see who raises their hand first.
Kent and Diane.
Kent raised his hand to make the motion. Diane seconded.
All right. Kent's raised his hand first to make a motion to accept this list, and Diane is the second. The motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor of approving the proposed list of county delegates, please vote by selecting the green check mark in the reactions menu. There's no, all those opposed to vote no by selecting the red X. If there are any abstentions, please put abstentions in the chat.
Voted yes, it passes.
Okay, we have a majority, so the motion passes. Thank you very much. We have 24 elected delegates to the county assembly. If you were elected as a delegate to the county assembly, please do not drop off the call. We'll immediately gavel into the county assembly once I adjourn this caucus. This concludes the business of our precinct caucus. Could we have our slides back up? I hereby adjourn the Montezuma County Democrats 2026 Precinct Caucus at 9:22 a.m. Should be on slide 13. I hereby call the 2026 County Assembly of the Montezuma County Democrats to order at 9:23 a.m. Because this is an extension of the previous meeting, we will not repeat the oath of constitution. Next slide. We're good. That's the right slide. Selection of temporary officers. If I hear a motion to designate a temporary chair and a temporary secretary for the purpose of establishing quorum and adoption of the Perm Org report. Please raise your hand.
Kent. Susan.
Kent and Susan.
Kent and
Kent.
Susan. Kent has made the motion and Susan Rain has seconded it. All those in favor of approving me as a temporary chair and Mary as a temporary secretary, please vote by selecting the green check mark in the React button menu. All those opposed, select the red X. If there are any abstentions, type abstains in the chat.
And we're good on that vote.
All right, so next slide. Okay. Unmute yourself.
Slide 15. Ilana, are you ready to with the quorum report?
Not yet.
All right. We'll have a minute or two then to put together the quorum report. For the quorum, we need 40% of our delegates present. And given that we've just moved from one meeting to the other, I'm hoping we've got a lot more than 40. One other item for the fact that we're on Zoom is that if you have a question, go ahead and type it into the chat. We'll be monitoring that. If you're raising your hand for a point of order, we'll recognize you. But if you've just got a question about how to do things or the technology we're using, then put that question in the chat.
They were gonna go on going on pause.
The chat.
Please realize that democracy takes time. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the caucus, we're using new technology here. And part of the issue with new technology is you have to get used to it. And so we're pretty much learning by fire here. So we should have the quorum report in a minute or so.
Hi, everyone. This is Alana. This is our quorum. These numbers aren't quite right. We have 25 total delegates and we have 23 checked in. So we are at quorum.
Oops, sorry.
Permanent Organization Committee Report and Adoption. This specifies the rules and the order by which the assembly and convention are conducted. It's been available on our website and was emailed to pre-registrants. And there's a link to it well, we won't put the link in the chat. It authorizes the following. election of the permanent chair, secretary, and other officers, ratification of the precinct organizers elected at caucus, authorization of vacancy committees, speaking time for candidates, nominations from the floor for every election, and uncontested races that we will vote by ballot. To conduct the preference poll in our contested races, we will be using an air table ballot. Uncommitted will be an option in each of these elections. The state assembly delegation will be selected based on each delegate's preference for U.S. senator. A candidate must receive 15% of the votes cast in the preference poll to be awarded delegates to Ohio assemblies. You are not bound to the candidate in today's poll if you're elected to be a delegate to state assembly. Next slide. We need to elect the following number of delegates for each county district and the state assemblies and conventions. You'll see the slide there. You may serve on more than one delegation. Next slide. Here you can see the dates of each higher assembly on the current slide. We'll notice that you'll notice that we have an in-person assembly for the state assembly, and the other three for CD3, House District 58 and House District 59 are going to be virtual. So if you are thinking of being a delegate for the state assembly, consider whether you'll be able to go there in person. We will be able to carry proxies, however. Next slide. The county candidate must receive 30% of the votes votes cast to be nominated to the primary ballot. For each of the county positions, nominations will be accepted from the floor if the motion passes to suspend the rules by a simple majority. That is true for all of the positions, the county positions we have, except for county commissioner in District 1, where we have a declared candidate. And where there is a declared candidate, there will be no nominations taken from the floor. Submission of this report by the Permore Committee is considered a motion to adopt. Can I have a second for this motion to adopt? Raise your hand.
MB.
MB McAfee has seconded the motion. The motion has been properly made and seconded to adopt the Permore report. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, vote by selecting the green check mark in the reactions menu. All those opposed, vote no by selecting the red X. Any abstentions can type abstain in the chat. Looks like the motion passes. Thank you very much. We'll now proceed with the business of electing delegates to the multi-county and state assemblies and designating the countywide candidates to the primary ballot. So our next order of business is the nomination of candidates for county offices. In Montezuma County, we can nominate candidates for the following offices: county clerk, sheriff, county commissioners, county assessor, county treasurer, county coroner, and county surveyor. We will nominate candidates. We will nominate all candidates and any candidates that are nominated from the floor in one vote after all nominations are closed. As I mentioned before, since there is a declared candidate for County Commissioner District 1, we will not take nominations from the floor for that position. So at this time, we will consider the nomination of the candidate for County Commissioner for District 1. I've received timely notice of intent from Rebecca Busick in writing 30 days in advance as required by state law for the position of County Commissioner in District 1. The candidate will be given 3 minutes to speak before the vote. The seconder should keep their speaking time to 1 minute, and the seconder may yield any remaining time to the candidate. Mary, could you unmute yourself?
I did. Russ, you have to turn off your speaker. Hi, everybody. It's my pleasure to second the nomination of Rebecca Busick. Hold on one sec. We're having technical difficulties. There we go. Maybe. Sorry, everybody. All right. I'm going to yield all of my time so that Rebecca can introduce herself. And we will then be able to vote to have her be our nominee. And we couldn't be luckier or more fortunate to have such an exemplary candidate. Rebecca.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. My name is Rebecca Busick, and I'm here today to humbly request your nomination to be the Democratic candidate for the Montezuma County Commissioner District 1 seat. I'm a lifelong rural person and the daughter of 2 school teachers. I moved to Montezuma County in 2004 following my hero, my Uncle Cliff. I've spent what I consider my entire adult life living and working here, and now we are raising our son Cliff here. For many years, I worked in the service industry. When I moved here, I could rent an entire house in Dolores off of my wages at the Dolores River Brewery. Today, there are 47 second homes in Dolores. My husband and I looked at a house in Dolores last fall, one of the 2 houses for sale at the time. It was built in 1942, 2,000 square feet, and the listing price was $869,000. I'm asking, how are people who work and live here, like school teachers, archaeologists, nurses, public safety officers, supposed to make that work? Additionally, if you can afford a home here, where do you send young children during the day when you go to work? In Montezuma County, there are childcare spots for less than half of the children who live here under the age of 6. There was a recent study that found rent for a family of 4 in Cortez averaged $1,300 a month. Childcare for those same 2 children was $1,600 a month. How does that math work? This isn't just affecting young people either. Older adults are the fastest growing group experiencing homelessness. What are our plans for them? We've continued to lose revenue from Kinder Morgan since I helped MB run her commissioner race in 2018, and it's been over a decade. Right now, they are 34% of our county revenue. During the time that revenue has decreased, there has been no successful alternative. An increase in the lodger's tax would help, but it wouldn't cover it. Utility scale solar would also help, but it got voted down. We are 1 in 4 counties not to have a sales tax in Colorado, and yet we continue to vote that down as well. We have to say yes to something, or we're going to start to lose critical services, and those who need them the most will be affected first. Things are changing fast. Technology, how we live and work, our jobs. We can try to do things as we've always done them and get left behind, or we can face them head on and think in new and innovative ways about what we as a county can do to support our people. We can create a place where people don't just survive, but they thrive. I have the energy, the passion, and the courage to do just that. I humbly ask for your nomination as commissioner so I can begin that work for our county. Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca. Rebecca has been properly nominated. The chair will now open the floor to any nominations for any other positions that were mentioned before for countywide. Are there any other countywide nominations? Are there any other countywide nominations? Are there any other countywide nominations? Actually, it's a state law that I have to say that 3 times. Seeing no additional nominations, nominations are closed. The chair will entertain a motion to accept a nomination from the floor with less than, actually, we're good there. The following candidate, Rebecca Busick, has been properly nominated. At this point, we're ready to vote. Alana, please put a link in the chat for countywide ballot and label it countywide ballot. We've noticed that some people are using the green check, and we're not going to use that for this vote. For this vote, we're going to use the countywide ballot that Ilana has put in the chat. And the reason for that is that this is a means, again, given the new technology, that we're able to record what's going on in our caucus, and it's automatically updated to the state. So if you could use that chat, that's the link that's in the chat should be labeled countywide ballot. If you need help, just raise your hand and we'll get it through it. This is a kind of a ballot that we're going to be using for an awful lot of the rest of our votes. So it'd be good that we get this one right. All right. If you could type your question in the chat, then we'll get back to you with that.
But no one's.
On your ballot, you'll select the one candidate that we have. Make sure in your ballot that you use the email address that you provided during the caucus.
We have votes in.
Roy, will you be able to type your question in the chat?
I did.
All right, thank you.
He's unmuted.
Did you?
I'll check.
Maybe he thinks he's voting.
No.
No, I don't see that in the chat. I'm sorry, Roy. Ah, I see. You say I don't see a place to vote. If you go to the chat, there should be a link in the chat that says countywide ballot.
I just messaged it to him.
Alana sent him the link.
How many votes do we need? We have 18. We have 18 votes.
Why hasn't everybody?
I'll have to go with what we have then.
You.
Looks like all the votes are in. The ballot is now closed. We are ready to announce the results. Ilana, can you share the countywide voting results?
These are the unofficial results. We have 21 votes for Rebecca Busick.
If you scroll down to the county commissioner section.
The county commissioners.
Oh, you're doing, yes, 100% then. We're good. Thank you. The results indicate the following candidate has made 30% threshold by getting a 100% threshold, 100%. Oh. Congratulations to Rebecca. Preference poll for state assembly. Thank you all for successfully nominating Rebecca as our county commissioner on the ballot. We will now proceed to the U.S. Senate preference poll. In this section, this is going to be the first section of 4 that we're going to use, well, 3 actually, we're going to use to vote for the different assemblies that we are going to be sending delegates to. The assemblies we will be sending delegates to are the State Assembly, which is in person in Pueblo, the CD3 or Congressional District 3 Assembly, HD 58 Assembly, and the HD 59, HD being a House district. They're all going to be run pretty much the same way. You're going to run use a ballot to indicate your preference for U.S. Senate and actually all of the other state positions that are up for election. That's one thing. So you've indicated what your preference is. Each of the delegates, people who want to be delegates, will be indicating what their preferences are, and then we'll match the 2 together and then vote on the delegates who are actually going to go to that assembly. So that's pretty much how that's going to run for the State Assembly, CD3, and HD 59. HD 58 will be different, but you'll see that. So could we have a slide up?
What slide?
Yeah, go on from that if you would. All right, back to where you were, back one. The purpose of this poll is to identify the senatorial candidate preference of the delegates who would like to go to state assembly. And we'll use this information to vote for the delegates to the state assembly who prefer a given senatorial candidate. Karen Breslin, U.S. Senator, Karen Breslin, U.S. Senator John Hickenlooper, State Senator Julie Gonzalez, and Jessica Williams have sent their letter of intent to the state chair as required by state law. The 2026 delegate selection plan stipulates that at the county assembly, a candidate preference poll with the highest contested statewide race among candidates participating in the Caucus and Assembly shall be taken, and delegates to the state assembly apportioned on the basis of fair reflection of candidate support. There will be a 15% threshold of support for a candidate at the county assembly in order to receive any delegates to the next level of assembly process. Our county has been allotted 5 total delegates to the in-person state assembly in Pueblo, Colorado on March 28th of this year. We go to the next slide. Ilana, please put a link in the preference to the preference poll in the chat labeled U.S. Senate preference poll.
It can't label a link, but
Delegates, please use this link in the chat to open your preference poll and select your candidate for U.S. Senate.
this is it. Oh, you have to stop sharing.
Could you put the slide up again, Mary, please?
No, we can't, she can't do it and put the slide up. She can't vote and have the slide up at the same time. She cannot vote and have the slide up at the same time. So she just is stopping sharing so she can vote.
All right. We'll give you 5 minutes to vote, starting now.
Karen Asensio, why is Karen calling me? Executive Director of the State Party.
Does anyone need extra time to vote? Raise your hand if you do. I don't see any, so thank you for casting your vote. We are now ready to announce the results of the preference poll. Show your preference poll. Actually, if Ilana, if you could show the preference poll results by sharing your screen.
Do you want to, can you talk about it?
So, according to this, Karen Breslin, Jessica Williams, and uncommitted have not met the threshold of 15%, and Julie Gonzalez and John Hickenlooper have. In that light, the candidates we will have for U.S. Senate will be Julie Gonzalez and John Hickenlooper. We will now ask you to let us know if you would like to be a delegate to the State Assembly. The State Assembly, Mary, could you put up the slides again? Will be held in person in Pueblo on March 28th. One more. If you'd like to become a delegate to the in-person State Assembly, please use the link that will be shared on the chat under the label State Assembly Delegate Interest Form and follow the instructions to officially submit your interest. If you would not be able to attend in person, you can assign a proxy to the delegate, to another delegate who will be attending in person. Ilana, please put up a label and label the link State Assembly Delegate Interest Form in the chat. You will first be, and you can start voting as I talk if you like, you will first be prompted to run as a delegate for one of the U.S. Senate candidates who have received delegates from the preference poll we just finished, and that would be Julie or John. If your preferred candidate from the preference poll received delegates and appears on this interest form, you must select that candidate. If your preferred candidate from the preference poll received no delegates and you wish to run as a delegate for one of the successful candidates, you can do that now. Additionally, you will be prompted to answer the straw poll about your preferences for candidates for governor, attorney general, secretary of state, and treasurer races. It is important to note that these preferences will be shared on the ballot in the next step in this process. Does anyone need more time? Actually, I'm going to fill out the form for myself. Does anyone need more time than to fill out their ballot? Ilana, could you show these state assembly delegate interest results?
For a second, we need a second. Share my, okay, yeah, that's right.
We have 5 delegate slots and 6 people interested in being delegates. Since the number of delegates is larger than the number of slots that we actually have, we'll need to go to the extended portion of this voting and actually vote for the delegates who will attend the assembly. Mary, could you put up the slide for that, please? It'll be in State Assembly Extension.
So because we have 4 people who filled out a ballot interested in representing Hickenlooper, we will only vote for our delegates to represent Hickenlooper. So I will be dropping that link in the chat.
All right. This process will only be used, as it says, if we have more people who want to be state delegates than we have delegate slots. We have 5 delegate slots and 6 people who have want to be delegates. We'll post the delegate ballot link for all. You're going to show it? Go ahead. You're still sharing your screen.
That's Mira.
Mary, could you share your screen?
No, Mary can't share her screen. She's the one voting.
How you doing with that? All right.
I'm not ready yet.
As 2 candidates, Julie Gonzalez and John Hickenlooper, have received delegates from our preference poll, you will now have the opportunity to vote for those delegates, who those delegates are. So we will present 2 different ballots.
One.
You can only,
Just one. We don't need to vote for Jenna Gris, or not, we don't need to vote for, yeah, just one. It's already in the chat. It's good.
so we will present 1 ballot. And that will be for John Hickenlooper. Ilana, please put the link to the delegate selection polls for John Hickenlooper
Done.
in the chat.
It's,
Don't do that.
it's
All
already
right, that's
done.
good.
People are already voting. You vote.
So in this case, just select the link for the John Hickenlooper. You'll have 10 minutes to make your selection. Everyone in the room can vote their top, in this case, 4 delegates, candidates for U.S. Senate candidate, John Hickenlooper. So if you could go ahead and vote, I'd appreciate it. Remember, when voting for John Hickenlooper's delegates, that we already have 2 that are allocated to Julie Gonzalez, so you'll only be able to vote for 3 in the John Hickenlooper camp, if you like.
Ready? You.
Does anyone need more time to vote?
We're good.
All right. Thank you all for voting. We are now ready to announce the results. Ilana, could you show the State Assembly delegate vote results? It looks like the delegates for John Hickenlooper will be Susan Rain, myself, and Lisa Taylor. And the U.S. Senate for Julie Gonzalez will be Mary Dodd and Ilana Newman. And that's 5. All State Assembly delegates will receive an email from the State Party Secretary with information about the State Assembly by March 18th. Congratulations to you all. So what we just did for State Assembly is we held a preference poll. We identified the delegates that who would like to be people who would like to be delegates to that assembly and their preferences, and then put them together. We ended up with more delegates than slots we had, so we went into the extension. Anytime we end up with the number of delegates, people who are interested, and the number of slots that are equal, then we don't have to do that extension. We'll just vote by acclamation. So we're going to do the same thing here for Congressional Districts 3 or CD3. We all live in CD3, which expands across multiple counties and includes all of ours. So the nominating assembly for your district is going to be held on Zoom on Friday, March 27th at 6 o'clock. 5 delegates will be sent to from our county to the CD3 assembly. And we will now take a preference poll for the CD3 race. Ilana, could you please put a link in the chat for the CD3 candidate preference poll and label it CD3 candidate preference poll? All right, thank you. Please click on the link in the chat and choose your favorite candidate for the race. We'll have 5 minutes for this, though you do seem to be able to vote rather quickly, so we may not need it all. Do keep in mind that for this and all other voting, that uncommitted is an option. Thanks. Does anyone need more time? Raise your hand if you do. All right. Seeing none, thank you for casting your vote. We're now ready to announce the results of the preference poll.
Still waiting, just give us a second if they're still coming in.
More time. We need more.
More time. We have 4 people who need more time. I'm sorry. That would. Alana will now show the voting results. Thank you for voting. In this, it showed that Alex Keloff has gotten 4 delegates and uncommitted has gotten 3 delegates. Dwayne Romero has gotten none. Has 1, sorry. So that's the 5 delegates that we have. At this point, what we'll do then is select the delegates or the people who are interested in being delegates to CD3 to identify who will actually go. If you would like to become a delegate to the virtual CD3 assembly, please use the link in the chat that is being shared under the label CD3 Delegate Interest Poll and follow the instructions as you're now getting used to, I hope. If you would not be able to attend, you can assign a proxy to a delegate who will be attending. Alana, please put a label and link to the CD3 Delegate Interest Poll form in the chat. That has been done. You'll first be prompted to run as a delegate for one of the U.S. House of Representative candidates who have received delegates. And in this case, it is Alex Keloff and uncommitted. And if your preferred candidate from the preference poll received delegates, you must, and appears on this interest form, it should, you must select that candidate. If your preferred candidate from the preference poll received no delegates, and it didn't look like we had anyone who, well, the only one we had was Dwayne Romero, and he didn't have any preference, so I don't think that'll be a problem. But if your candidate from the preference poll received no delegates and you wish to run as a delegate for one of these successful candidates, you can do that. I'm going to fill out my form as well, if you'll give me a minute. All right, thank you for filling out this form. The following delegates have indicated their intent to be considered for the position of CD3 Assembly Delegate. If you could unmute yourself and just go ahead and announce it, yep.
For Alex Keloff, we have 8 people running as delegates. Myself, Kent Aiken, Mary Dodd, Lisa Taylor, Brandy Pillar, Diane Daniel, Catherine Siebert, Russell Taylor, and running as an uncommitted, we have Barbara Massey. So we will have a preference poll to choose our 4 delegates representing Alex Keloff. We will not have a preference poll for the uncommitted candidate. I will drop the link in the chat. Just 1 minute.
Oh, that was not link.
So we are going to do a runoff for delegate selection for Alex Keloff. The one delegate we had allocated to uncommitted has been filled.
Everyone can vote in this one, even if you didn't run as a delegate.
So Ilana will be putting a link for,
We have to go on quick break.
hold on. Yeah, we're having a little difficulty with the software here. I'm sorry, this isn't running smoothly.
Yeah. So we've been having an issue with our Airtable ballots, which did not give a chance to share the people running. Sorry, we're having some technical difficulties on our end. But the 4 people who will be representing Alex Keloff at the CD3 assembly are Kent Aiken, Brandy Pillar, Diane Daniel, and Catherine Siebert. Our other delegates, candidates have backed out.
Do we want to take a vote?
This is one of the problems with using new technology. It turned out that the delegate options were not presented in the Alex Keloff poll. So what we did is removed some of the people that showed interest that we know ourselves. And that leaves the delegates that the 4 that we actually need, which worked out fine.
Oh, and we also have Barbara Massey going to CD3 assembly as an uncommitted.
Okay. Again, using the list that Alana had just mentioned, they have been elected to be CD3 multi-county assembly delegates and will receive an email from the state party secretary with information on the CD3 multi-county assembly on March 18th. Congratulations to you all. Now, the next multi-county we have is HD 58. We're now going to be dealing with the multi-county district HD 58. We have how many? Six people who actually live in HD 58. In order to participate in this part of the assembly, you have to actually live in HD 58. Ilana, could you read out the names of the people that are in HD 58? This is a special situation for a couple of reasons. One is that we only have one delegate to send to the HD 58 assembly, and the other is that there are no declared candidates for HD 58. So you might ask yourself, well, why should we bother sending anyone to the assembly at all? But the answer to that is, since there is no declared candidate, they will be able to take nominations from the floor. And in that assembly, they will be voting for whomever, if any, do come forward in order to run for that seat.
There are 3 people who can vote in the or 4 people who can vote in the HD 58 preference poll. This is MB McAfee, Terry Helm, Susan Rain, and Diane Daniel.
Since this is an exception, what I'd like to do is to ask if any of those people are willing or interested in being the delegate to the HD 58 assembly. Mary McAfee has raised her hand. Anyone else? All right, this will quicken this process a whole lot. Given that we have one slot to fill and one interested person, then we can vote by acclamation. The people who can vote will be the people from HD 58, those 6 that Lana just mentioned. I think that just voting by raising your hand would be probably fine. So what I'd like you to do then is to raise your hand if you are in HD 58 and you are willing to elect MB McAfee as our delegate to HD 58 assembly. Looks like we've got 5 people with their hands raised. And I would say that's a majority. So congratulations, MB. You will be our delegate for HD 58. As mentioned before, I expect you will receive an email from the state party secretary with information on the AMB HD 58 multi-county assembly. Our last order of business is HD 59, and this one we will run pretty much the same as we have in the past. Preference poll, identify the delegates, vote for your delegates. If we identify the delegates, we have 5 slots or 4 slots for HD 59. If we have 4 delegates, then I think we'll be able to do the same. Just vote by acclamation for those delegates and we're good to go. Otherwise, we will do the poll. Keep in mind that for HD 59, we have two options for voting. One is Katie Stewart and the other is uncommitted. If we end up with 4 delegates and each of them are going for Katie Stewart, then we could probably go home soon. So in that light, let's have Ilana, if you'd put up a link to the HD 59 preference poll in the chat and label it HD 59 preference poll. If you could find that there. Each of you who live in HD 59, again, those 6 that live in HD 58, you will not be able to vote in this section. So I'll give you 5 minutes and we probably won't need that, but I'll fill out my form as well. We still have people voting, so we'll wait another minute or two. Does anyone still need more time? Put up your hand if you do. All right, seeing none, thank you for casting your vote. We're now ready to announce the results of the preference poll. Ilana, could you share that on the screen? Uncommitted 0, Katie Stewart has 16.
So Katie Stewart.
So she got all 4 delegates. If you live in HD 59 and would like to become a delegate for the virtual HD 59 assembly, use the link that Ilana will put on the chat, labeled HD 59 delegate interest form, and follow the instructions as you are now so ably willing to do. Since the preferred candidate of everyone is Katie Stewart, then you will need to, we should be putting up only the Katie Stewart. Actually, for delegate interest, Does anyone need more time? Looks like we've got one more person still voting.
Good.
All right, voting has completed. We have 4 delegate slots. And how many people interested? 4 people interested. So can you name the people who have expressed interest?
The 4 people who have expressed interest are Mary Dodd, Russ Taylor, Lance McDaniel, and myself.
All right. Given that the number of delegates and the number of slots are equal, we should be able to vote by acclamation. That is the slate that we have for people who would, the slate of people we have for people who would be delegates to the HD 59 assembly. If you could give us a show of hands then, or actually, yes, let's use the green check box to vote for this slate of delegates for HD 59 assembly. Are we good?
16.
We are good. All right, thank you. Looks like we've got a majority there. Congratulations to those 4 people who have been elected to be the HD 59 Multi-County Assembly delegates and will receive an email, as everyone else will, who are delegates, from the State Party Secretary with information on the HD 59 Multi-County Assembly. Congratulations. This completes our business today, and I thank you for your time and your patience, given the new technology and my inability to hear. This meeting is adjourned.
For those of you still on, I want to give big props to Russ and to Alana for helping us with this.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.